Hey guys, it's Greg here.
Yeah, it's John.
We're going to be doing a review of the movie Get Out, directed and written by Jordan Peele. Jordan Banana Peele. Right now, there's kids right outside this window. They're playing music and talking loud, so if you hear them, I'm not going to silence them today. And those are cats. Those are fucking cats. I'm not going to silence the kids today because I'm moving out of this apartment within the next week, so I'm like, whatever, let them make some noise. Last time, I don't want to tell them to be quiet one more time. I fucking hate them. I can't wait to move. No, they're cute kids.
They're cute. They're nice.
Anyway, this movie, Get Out. This movie's about a black man named Chris, who's dating a Caucasian girl named Rose. They've only been dating for a few months now. They're in love. He's gonna go visit his girlfriend's parents on their family estate, where things suspiciously start going weird because the family and people who come to visit take an awkward interest in black people. Now, this film, though, I don't want to review too much of the film because I don't want to give anything away because it's such a fun thrill ride. Just to kick off the review, I'll tell you, this film is excellent. It's superb.
This is a terrific movie.
It's masterfully crafted. It's wonderfully written, beautifully directed. The music is great, and the acting is really, really top-notch performances from everyone all around.
Yeah.
It's one of those horror films that it takes its time, but it also moves along pretty fast. And I really like the tone and the style of this overall film.
Oh yeah, I mean it's very natural, and it's a character piece and it's a mood piece, more than anything. It's not necessarily like crazy plot, but there is just enough of that to really make it super intriguing, but also very personal. And especially for like a first writing, directing outing for Jordan Peele, I mean, it's super impressive.
It's super impressive. And knowing that Jordan Peele did it, and if you watch any of Key and Peele, you'll see that a lot of their sketches, they're genre-inspired, and a lot of them are horror genre-inspired. So I was excited knowing that he's doing a psychological horror film. And if you're going to call something a psychological horror film, that's the best way to describe it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's very psychological, this whole experience. It's weird, it's sometimes trippy, but it also feels like real and normal at the same time,
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of like interesting visual metaphors and stuff, and interesting ways of shooting things they bring up. Even if they get a little out there, they all seem to really match and really communicate, the feeling of the movie and the feeling of the turns in the story, because this is a really sort of unsettling movie in a quiet kind of way.
Oh, totally. The film's greatest strengths are in its characters, I feel. Daniel Kaluuya, something like that. He's in Sicario, plays Emily Blunt's partner, and he is also in the second episode of Black Mirror. Yeah. He's wonderful in this. I think the guy's British in real life.
I believe so.
And he does a great American accent. And
he's a really natural American accent.
He's this guy who we learn early on has a rather traumatized past. He lost his mother to a hit and run when he was about 11 years old. He's addicted to cigarettes. It's funny because this film kind of is like a horror movie of Meet the Parents. Because in Meet the Parents, Ben Stiller's character is gonna go meet his family, her family, and the family's all suspicious, and Ben Stiller likes to smoke, but he doesn't want the family to be around him when he smokes. He doesn't want them to know he smokes, and it kind of plays on that element a little bit. Then the other character we meet is Rose, played by Allison Williams, who we know from Girls. Both of them do an amazing job. Allison Williams, I fell in love with her in this movie.
Yeah,
like her character in Girls can tend to piss me off. I mean, yeah, she's beautiful, but she can kind of irritate me. Not because of her acting, it's the way her character is. And her character here, I greatly fell in love with her. I fell in love with Daniel, and the two of them together really bought them as this couple, which is the heart of this film, which is the strength of this film is you really love these two as a couple.
Yeah, you do. You want it to work out.
You want it to work out.
This weekend to be some kind of success.
You really feel that she has his back on everything, that she also sees how weird people are treating, Chris, and treat black people overall. Like, he's not alone on this, because it does play on that element of racism a lot, and it plays on the element of a black guy being in a predominantly white community as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, this to me played like a racial body horror movie, and I'm curious as to what some of the critics in the black community would have to say, because it is sort of a different experience, to have as a focal detail in a horror movie, because a lot of the situations come in the gray area of how her family is perceiving him and how their friends are all perceiving him, and he's sort of the most normal guy in the movie,
Yeah.
while everyone else is, you know, all shades of racially strange.
Yeah, exactly. Because some of these guys don't seem like they're exactly racist, like they hate black people. They just seem to take a weird curiosity into black people.
Yeah,
they
where
really notice that a guy is black, you know?
Yeah, and it becomes unnatural in the opposite direction, where it's like you become some sort of novelty or like a pet, you
Yeah.
know, or like, and I think it plays with a lot of those different dynamics. I mean, there's a great, you know, strange little dynamic just between Chris and the two, you know, help members who work for this girl's family when they go home for the
There's
weekend.
these other black characters who, you know, the dad of the family, Bradley Whitford, Dean, calls them servants. So
Yeah.
I'm going to use that word here. Georgina and Walter. Georgina's played by Betty Gabriel. Walter's played by Marcus Henderson. It sets it up in a way where you think, okay, when Chris gets there, Chris feels like, okay, the people he can probably bond with are the two black people that are working here. But they seem really off as well. It's like an uncomfortable pleasantry in their personality. It's like a fake altered kind of greetings they have.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like a weird Stepford thing, and again, like every situation this movie walks into almost makes you wonder about the circumstances and about what everyone's really feeling about all this.
Yeah, but everyone's a very fleshed out character. You know, Allison Williams is a great, brings a lot of great personality to it, where she is that lovable girlfriend, and she's more than just the lovable girlfriend. She's multi-layered. And the parents too. Bradley Whitford does a great job in this role.
Yeah,
you
totally.
instantly buy him as this neurosurgeon dad who likes to be cool and relatable. And then Catherine Keener seems more like the humble, more calm one who could see her husband's weirdness. But they have a great chemistry as a husband and wife together.
The whole family, like, really does feel like a family. And Caleb Landry Jones is the other character, who I forgot he was even in this, who's her brother, and he's
And that was a nice spin on
nuts,
it too.
but, you know,
every time you
great.
think a cliche element is coming, they have a good twist on it.
Yeah.
You know, like you hear about, oh, the son, he's studying medicine, then he shows up and they don't show him in the trailer, so I won't give it away, but he's totally different than what you're first thinking when you hear about. Like, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be like the really good behaving white son.
Yeah.
Has a suit. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. But he's nothing like that. And it's done in a way that was very different and worked very well for this specific film as well.
There's a whole lot inside of this movie
Yeah.
overall, from the subtext and the character stuff all the way down to the visuals, because it's shot really well too.
Totally.
Like, it has a very distinct, very assured visual style, very assured pace. Like, there are only a couple times where it ever feels choppy at all.
One thing that we learn early on is like Catherine Keener's character, she's a psychiatrist who specializes in hypnosis. And the hypnosis sequences are great. They're wonderfully acted. His specific performance in his first hypnosis scene, that was powerful.
Is incredible. Yeah.
Like, you're just like watching this guy struggle with having to face a dark reality in his past, which was like beautiful. You could feel so much history this guy created. Like he created a full past in this performance, you know? Like it was absolutely brilliant the way it was all acted.
Those hypnosis scenes too are impressive, because the way they slip into the movie, the first one, I didn't even realize what was happening until halfway through the scene, where I was like, like you pick it up. There's some excellent subtlety in this movie, and some excellent, like you said, just bold-faced performances. you know?
And there's like several kind of horror blends. You get the mind trippy hypnosis sequences. You get like one or two jump scares. It's not really like full blown with jump scares. It's more just a creepy, eerie film where you're wondering like, what the fuck is going on, and what's going on with the black people in this community, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this film is a really, really cool metaphor, you know, for, I guess, feeling like an alien, you know, and the way also, you know, white people get weird and try to ape, you know, black culture and stuff like that, and sort of take it as their own. Like, there's a lot, this discusses, like, I know that it's going to be kind of difficult to discuss race when it comes to this movie, because it is an integral part, but it's not like it's going to sour your experience.
It manages to not do it in some preachy sort of way, which I was really impressed by.
Like, it really made me feel like, oh man, this must be, like, what this is a metaphor must really truly be an awkward living experience.
Oh yeah, totally. And I gotta say, Betty Gabriel as Georgina, what a fantastic job she did.
Oh, dude, she's incredible.
Creepy, eerie. At times, you kind of like care for her. You want to like, Chris, help her out. Help figure out what's going on with this girl. Walter, Marcus Henderson's character, another like effectively eerie dude. I love the way the mystery is done here, because it really is one of those great mystery movies where you're like, I want to know what is going on. Yeah, like it keeps reeling you in, makes you ask questions. It's done in a way where when everything's being revealed, it's just not what you'd expect, and yet when the reveal's finally there, And then you look at all the former events, you're like, yeah, it
You're
all
like,
makes sense. Like the way it's all played.
I knew something weird was going on here, but I did not expect.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You know, I saw the signs, but boy, what did I get in
And
return?
there's some great twists and turns, and then the unraveling of all the other characters.
Oh, yeah.
Is amazingly done. You know, learning who's really evil, who's really this and that.
This movie has a great balance, and it has a
Yeah.
really tight plot. Like, everywhere the movie goes from one place to the
Yeah.
next is really sensible. Like,
Yeah, I thought it was structured incredibly well.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, it takes its time because it's so much development happening within the characters and the mystery. Yet, it moves at such a great, steady pace that you're never bored. You're just not bored. It's a cool film.
It's
cool. It's a cool film.
It's cool, and it is kind of art house and indie, but it's also thrilling and engrossing,
Yeah.
and just everything, pretty much everything is top notch.
And there's a character in there played by Little Ray Howery. Forgot the character's name he plays, but he plays Chris's best friend. And like when Chris and his girlfriend go on this trip, his best friend is watching their dog, and he's that character who like he believes anything that sounds suspicious. Like his mind can jump to crazy conclusions. He provides a lot of the humor for this film, and a lot of critics I know are saying like this film is funny. I wouldn't call it a comedy by any means. John was right about that. It's not a comedy by any means. There's definitely humor sprinkled in it throughout because it really comes alive through the characters' performances, and especially this guy's, Little Ray, his performance.
Laurel, I believe it is.
It's not Ray?
No, there's
I
no
misread it.
Yeah, Laurel.
Laurel, my bad. I thought I said Little Ray.
But yeah, I mean, he is
a
the
rapper.
But he's the most like outwardly humorous character. But even he is like, you know, the common sense radar
Yeah.
of this movie in a great way. And the thing is, like, I think everybody will have a different experience. I laughed a lot during this movie, even though I still wouldn't say like it's really funny. But if those ironic moments, you know, where you know something else is going on and the character says something kind of humorously in contrast, like there's a lot of subtle humor in here too.
Yeah, it's every character. No one's a plot device in this film.
No.
Everyone's very much fleshed out and serves a great purpose to the overall film. And the way it just keeps unraveling, it's a very captivating film.
It's fucking tight, man.
It's brilliant. I thought it was. I was like, this lives up to everything. My only issue, like the trailer, I thought was amazing. But I will say the trailer doesn't necessarily spoil everything, but when like a scene is happening and then like, let's say when someone dies in a scene, I was able to see it coming because I'm like, oh, this looks familiar from the trailer when this one guy got hit. Okay, yeah, that's what. And a lot of times when like a certain, shock moment happens, I'm like, oh, well, the trailer kind of show me a little image of that, which made me go, oh, that must be where it's go. Here's where it happens.
I thought about that in the moment where the groundskeeper is like running at him. Like if I had seen that moment cold and not like every time I saw that trailer, that I think would have really, you know, unsettled me in a different way. So yeah, you know, I definitely see that component.
But there's still a lot of wonderful surprises. I don't think you'll see the reveal coming, like when they explain what's going on. I don't think you'll see that coming. It still makes everything make sense. Bottom line, wonderfully directed, wonderfully written, wonderfully shot. Great music and superb acting.
I can't remember the last movie I got done with and was like, I think I love this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I think this might be one of my favorites.
I mean, 2016 was a great year for horror. 2017 already started us off with Split and now Get Out, and they're both from Blumhouse.
Yeah.
The company John works for. Isn't that interesting? And we saw Cure for Wellness, which was also great, and now Get Out. 3 great horror films in the span of a couple months of 2017. So I can't wait to see what else is in store for horror this year.
I can't wait to see what Jordan Peele does next. Like, I hope he does more horror stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is just, you know, what he needed for this particular story.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he really knows how to set environment and mood. Like, just in the opening credits. Like, the opening credits are just a shot through a car window of looking at the trees of the forest, showing, like, they're going somewhere very secluded and very far away from everything. All you're seeing are trees the whole time. But it puts you in that mood, like, they're going to be very much isolated here.
It does have sort of an old-timey dread, because even that credit sequence is kind of, you know, it has a lot of the credits in it like an older movie would, and, like, it really does take its time to settle you into the identity of the movie. And it's a movie all about kind of the horrors of identity.
And there's great sound design in this film, too. The sound design makes a lot of the scenes have that extra punch to it. and the music is so effective. There's like 3 different songs that are play within the first 10 minutes of this movie, but it's not like Suicide Squad. But the way it's like the way the transitions are done and the music choices this was like we all knew this was going to be a good film, and it really delivers.
Yeah, this is, I think, the most effortlessly I've seen something where I'm like, that looks awesome. I'm just going to allow myself to be excited for it. I saw it, and it was awesome in ways that I hoped it could be, and in ways that surprised me. So
rating system time. Masterpiece.
It's kind of a masterpiece.
No, it's not going to win like a fucking Oscar. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe if they fucking consider horror movies a little more often. Especially Daniel's performance, man. Like, his performance is fucking dynamite. Like, that performance is awesome.
He is so natural. Like, he is so present.
If I had to give one judgment, it would probably just be the way the finale kind of goes down within the last 20 minutes. It's a little bit too much like, I mean, I can't give away my problems with it, but it's done in a way where it's not necessarily cliche, but it borderline goes cliche for me. I'd have to clarify it. If I were to clarify it, it would ruin the film for you.
I think the only complaint I would have is, like, there are times in towards the third act where, you know, I guess you could complain that some of the more comedic scenes, some of the more comedic cutaway scenes to his friend are a little bit more funny than the rest of the movie, and they kind of stand out a bit, but I don't think there's anything in here that doesn't.
That surreal vibe.
Yeah, and that's in the tradition of certain other horror movies too. So like, there's nothing in here that I think just absolutely doesn't belong or takes away from the story. I can also see maybe again, anytime there's some kind of ending reveal, you know, you might lose a couple people. I think this movie's reveal is really cool. You take a leap, but where they land, I think it really works. But you know, you might not.
I mean, 2016 was a great year for horror movies. 2017, we already got Split. And we saw A Cure for Wellness, which was also great. Yeah. And now Get Out. 3 great horror films within the span of a couple months of 2017. So I can't wait to see what else is in store for horror this year. Alright guys, well if you're new to the channel, subscribe to The Real Rejects. He is the social media manager of Bloomhouse and The Real Rejects. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Reasons to Jerry. My shout out's going to be dedicated to Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya. He was in Johnny English Reborn and Kick-Ass 2. He's the sequel guy in episode 2 of Black Mirror.
Oh man.
He's the new Rock.
He's number 2.
And we're not going to wonder if this guy's black or not, like The Rock. We know he's black.